This programme is brought to you by vinny.co.uk.
Welcome back, Champions League pool here on Free Sports, and this is probably the closest finish that we've come back to. Welcome to the final hour, 2 matches to come, Simon Webb, and this is about as close as we could possibly go.
Yeah, it's all a bit tight out there. We do know that Eddie Barker is out, but he could have a big say on what happens because he's playing up against Chris Day now. Looking at the table, Chris Day's on 3 points, Sean Story's on 3 points, and Tom Price is on 2. If Chris was to draw this match, even though he'd go top of the table, he would be out because they're guaranteed that one of those 2 players is either going to... Actually, no, is my maths
shootout.
Yeah, it could be. It'd end up being a shootout. Sorry, I'm trying to do some maths on the fly and I'm getting it all wrong. That's how tight it is out there.
Red ball's in play.
It really is close. What we do know is to qualify, Tom Price will have to win. But Sean Story with a win, likely go through. Might not though. So Chris Day wins this. I believe got a shootout.
There's definitely a good chance of a shootout. It'll be our first one, won't it? Week 5.
Fizzing with excitement at just the very prospect of it. A little way to go before we get too excited though. And we've talked about this in other weeks, but tough situation here for Eddie Barker. He was so unlucky to lose his first match of the night. Really was unlucky. A little bit more user error in his second match. He had a couple of moments, missed 8-ball in particular, which should have been gutted with. But other than that, to have no points after those 2 matches, he can consider himself pretty hard done by.
Yeah, he's certainly played his part tonight. Yes, we can talk about that missed 8-ball, which was a massive moment, not just in his match, but on the night. But he's played his part, and you feel like he could have got something out of at least one of his matches.
Or he might struggle to get something out of this frame now. That has gone wrong by about half an inch. That's all it takes. Other side, other half of that yellow even, and he's still on this. He's now in a bit of a pickle. That's about all he can do, is turn the table over. And for a man in the sort of rude form that Chris Day is in, that could be a pretty dangerous thing to do. Stunning last couple of frames on this table from CD, who uses every millimetre of that pocket to force an angle onto this yellow at the bottom of the table. It wasn't a poor shot, that was absolutely by design. And I think that's when you know that a player's cursing with confidence, so they're taking on shots, almost deliberately making life more difficult for themselves for the perfect result, because they feel like they've got it nailed.
Feeling good out there, pinching pockets and controlling the cue ball and seeing finishes. Chris Day's certainly with the way he finished that last match. In fact, the whole of the last match he played fantastically well, but especially the last 2 frames. That reverse dish, break dish finish was special. Really was, especially when it on the back of that unbelievable shot from Tom Price. The form he's showing should be routine, but it isn't routine. The way that 8-ball is, he needs to play 2 nice positional shots now.
Yeah, this isn't all that easy. It's certainly not guaranteed. Can only hold the white there with that angle. Another yellow down the rail. Is that a few of these?
Yeah, made light work of them in the previous ones. He needs to cue this one nicely because he needs the cue ball to come down the table with it. Oh, so he's cueing beautifully. He really is.
These pockets look like buckets to him right now, don't they? That is beautifully played. Had to play it at a decent lick as well.
Right.
Just made it look so easy. Great start from Chris Day. A super counter clearance. Well, this is the state of things then. So a Chris Day win takes him to 5 points, which means only Sean Storey can then qualify through, and by doing so he'd have to beat Tom Price and it would take us into a shootout. If Chris wins and Tom and Sean draw, Chris is through outright. If Chris wins and Tom wins, Chris is through outright. Chris gets a point. It could still go to a shootout. Chris loses. Tom Price and Sean Storey becomes a de facto final. Hope you're following.
Just about.
It's good.
Just about.
It is good. Great to get to the final 2 matches of the night with so much on the line. And Eddie Barker will be wondering, 1, how on earth has that white not gone in? And 2, after that, how have I not made a ball? Look at the split.
How's nothing gone in the way he hit those?
I thought there was a magnetic field around the pockets. It goes the other way when this man's at the table at the moment, that's for sure. Sucking them in. Chris Day can't miss.
And that's come out lovely as well. Opened up the pocket for this yellow in the top of the table. Yellows at the bottom of the table aren't too bad. I think the 2 that are together, he can take the one nearest the cushion from the right angle. That makes things a little bit more awkward because that red's getting in the way of possibly the yellow, possibly the 8 ball. Yeah, definitely it's in the way. I think the 8 ball still goes. I don't think the yellow does, so he's going to need a nudge at some point. He may be able to play onto it into the centre pocket. There isn't much room, but it's an option.
Yeah, this is a clearance that needs some figuring out, that's for sure. This is not easy. And this will be a real test of a man who's bang in form.
Control, playing the safety.
But he plays the percentages.
He didn't play it particularly well. He would have wanted the yellow to be like a shade the other side of that red, not right over the pocket. But if Eddie can't get to the one over the pocket or near the pocket, then it's worked for Chris. Or maybe he can get to it, he can.
Yeah, and just like that, Eddie Barker has taken control of the frame. This is now really difficult for Chris Day.
What does Eddie want to do? Potentially a clearance on if he wants it.
It's there for him. I feel like Chris is just trying to tempt him with that shot.
He did attempt to pot that one. I think clearance was his focus, but he's still controlling the frame to some extent, although an opportunity here for Chris to skill shot this open.
Yeah, there it goes. And a little grimace on the face of Chris Day there. You can see he's a little bit miffed. That's not come out perfect. He was leaving a little bit to luck there.
Trying to play the yellow onto the red to knock the red onto the cushion and make it awkward and leave the yellow over the middle pocket. Hasn't quite come out as designed.
Yeah, he's still not in a terrible position. This isn't necessarily an easy clearance, this for Eddie. He has made that red that was over the middle a problem. It was an absolute gimme. Now it's tough wherever you pot it.
He could, if he wants to, try and move it. Play the red into the right centre. quite often talk about not moving balls if you don't need to, but he would be very unfortunate not to be on the next ball if he does try and move it. I think he can drop it in from there. I think that's as played. Don't think he was trying to move it. Drop this in.
Yeah, if so, it's played beautifully, actually. I think you're right. This does just float on in. It's a delicate one. And in it goes. That's a really canny little shot from Eddie Barker in that case.
He still needs to play a good positional shot, though. The one nearest the bottom right-hand corner. That is an awkward ball to land on. Backing himself to do it from distance rather than trying to get close to this red and getting the wrong angle. Brilliant.
What a shot that is. What a lovely shot that is. Absolutely on a penny. Absolutely on the money from Eddie Barker. This has been a really, really good clearance. He wasn't left an easy one. Chris Day made sure of that.
Right.
After Chris couldn't quite complete a really difficult clearance, Eddie squares things up. And there's still a little bit of fight left in Eddie Barker. A lot of personal pride comes into a game like this.
It is difficult. We've seen it every week so far. When a player knows they're out, it is difficult to keep yourself fired up because you know you can't go through. But to his credit and to everyone else's credit that's been in this position, they have still really, tried out there. They want to showcase what they can do, and they want to, finish the night in style, and be fair to the competition and do themselves justice. And that was a very good clearance from Eddie Barker. And this match looked like it was going to go 2-0. All of a sudden it's 1-1 and we're halfway through.
One frame more.
A bit like the whole night, still very tight out there.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Almost the night in a microcosm. Front ball break from Chris Day. A change of tack has yielded some pretty good results. That's a hammer. He hits this really well.
He's going to be really frustrated because he had to watch this red and yellow to the bottom left-hand side table. He would have watched that the whole way. You could see very quickly the Reds were just going to ping open at the top. He's got one problem ball, and this is where he's going to attack it. It's good news, bad news. He's opened it up. He's not on it. Well, he is on it, but he can't pot it.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's got enough white ball to see a ball at the top of the table.
I think he thinks he can still cut this in.
Well, we're about to find out.
We can. And that's okay, he's got a shot. It's not perfect. Of course it's not from that distance, but at least he's got a shot. That was a great cutback.
Yeah, and the three Reds at the top of the table sort of sort themselves out, really. It's difficult not to land off on one off this shot. He scored his extension just to make sure.
I think he's worried if he takes the one furthest left, he could slide awkward.
Well, the one thing I wasn't expecting was him to miss it. Just wonder, talk about him in the first frame, pinching pockets because he's hitting it that well. Possibly an edge of that. He wants to straighten the cue ball up. He was perfect for the rest of the break because of that. Just wonder if he's played the white there rather than the pot. A little bit. Something all players are guilty of every now and again.
Well, the straighter he potted that, the easier he was going to stay on the red. So you're almost pinching the pocket, although not that he would have been from that distance, but maybe you're edging that way because of it.
Eddie Barker goes within a millimetre of desperation.
One good bit of cueing here, though, should give him this third frame.
And that really would.
Oh, he can get to the he can get to the one over the top left, closest to the pocket. Makes things a little easier.
Oh, and hasn't that broken up a dream? He's got one tricky shot, and the rest should be routine. It's a left-hand side here, just to hold the white. Played it beautifully. Well, 7 minutes left. Eddie Barker odds on to take the lead.
So from your calculations earlier, did we work out that if Chris loses this match, he's guaranteed to go out, isn't he, because of the results in the other match?
Absolutely.
Oh, he could snooker himself. All the hard work done, and he snookers himself on the 8-ball. So frustrating.
Would you believe it? And the pot's not there, and you can see the shake of the head from Eddie Barker. That is pure frustration.
Get the sense that that's how close he's been all night to really playing okay, playing well. Just finishes awkward. On another day, he catches the red a fraction fuller, and he's on the 8-ball, and he makes no mistake.
Foul.
Oh, wow.
Well, I thought he was pushing it tight, I must say. A shot of redemption for Eddie Barker. Can't miss those. And well,
Is that the first one we've seen? So the time foul, for everyone wondering what that noise was.
yeah, the 20-second shot clock runs out. I think it is the first one we've seen this whole tournament. And what a time to do it for Chris Day.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a situation where it was to his advantage to kill time there. He wants to get himself back in front. So he just wanted to find the right snooker or the right safety shot. And yeah, that's you have to say, a little bit of a careless one.
Yeah, it really is. Wow. It's just it's the night that keeps on giving this. And now Chris Day absolutely not guaranteed a win here with the time left in the match. And I'll tell you, two people who are watching this now who've just sat up a little bit straighter in their chairs, Sean Storey and Tom Price.
Oh, where's the 8-ball?
Oh, that was very close.
Chris Day in his chair, sucking that in, trying to stop that from going in, because that would have really hurt, going 3-1 behind at that stage.
Well, the 8's guaranteed.
Saying that's the first time foul we've seen, we've not seen a golden break yet, considering how many we had in the Super Series and the shootout showdowns and the 4-1s. It's incredible we've not seen one yet.
Just going to be a bit careful with this white ball here. And he's all right. He knew he'd be contacting that yellow, and he did not want to knock the black in. But he's okay, Eddie Barker. Oh, well. This could be about to get very, very interesting. Chris Day, at the start of this match, was playing as well as we've seen anyone play on this table. First frame, a dream. Second frame, he had a really, really tough clearance and came very close to making it. And he recovers 1-1. Then a frame that was balanced on a knife edge, which he should have lost, got a route back into it, and gave it up again. This is the night that, for me, just keeps on giving. And credit to Eddie Barker here, who is giving the man who has been on form in the last 45 minutes or so a real game here, although that is a mile off.
Big moments now then for Chris Day. Very big moments. At the bare minimum to stay in tonight, he needs a point here. He needs to get a draw, so he has to win this frame with 4 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, we're guaranteed almost to have another frame. There's no way if Chris clears these that we won't. There's not enough balls on the table for that.
I was just going to say, as a counter-argument to that the yellow nearest the 8-ball, that is a major problem ball for Chris Day here. It really is. And if it wasn't for the fact that the match clock ticking down. He may not take this finish on.
It might come down to having to pot a really, really clutch double. Like, you can't risk knocking that yellow out. It's the 8-ball's dangling on the precipice.
For me, you've got two options, haven't you? You've got the double, which is very makeable if you can get the cue ball down anywhere near the triangle area, just almost level with the yellow, just above it. You'd feel confident of making it. We've seen so many doubles from these great players. His other option would be the skill shot, but how would you fancy that with your tournament hanging on the line? You're guaranteed to make the 8-ball if you take the skill shot on. But if the yellow does not follow it in, you are 3-1 down with 2 minutes on the clock. It's almost you're still in the tournament or you're not on one shot.
Oh, we're about to see where Chris Day is about to put all of his chips.
I don't blame him at all.
It's on the double.
Yeah, the double was the right shot for me all day long.
This needs playing with a lot of care and attention.
Could play it dead weight and gain some control on it as well. That's what he's doing. Brilliant.
What a relief for Chris Day. What a relief it is. A great, great clearance. Make no mistake that whilst I think in any other scenario that yellow is almost routine for him, that is a real clutch shot. Because it's off a cushion, there is always that element of doubt, of risk, and he makes that probably 95 times out of 100. It's a straightforward shot, but the way that it was set up there, it was almost like it was set up to fail, and that was a real test of bottle.
Yeah, the way the match had gone, the way the chances he's had, and what I like about it was the fact that he was very decisive. He made a plan of how he was going to go about it, leave that as his last ball, and the position he played to get onto it the way he did was excellent. That's what made the shot for me, was that he had to travel the cue ball down the table, but he got perfect position on it.
Well, now it's back in his hands. 2 minutes to go. A break and a dish here, you'd feel, puts him in such a good position. But just as I say that, I think for the fourth time tonight, certainly 3+, Chris Day goes in off the break. And that could be his last shot of the night. If Eddie Barker can clear what's a pretty good looking lie, Chris Day could be walking.
He's got one shot to play, and that's developing this yellow nearest the bottom right-hand corner. He's going to try and do it now. He's looking to come around the back of the red. He might even squeeze off the red, off the cushion, and go into it. He has. Oh, it's not moved it. And he's caused another problem by knocking the red over that bottom left. This was a great chance, needed one position.
And now it's not a good chance and needs two. I think a couple of players will be pretty liable to think, how many lives does Chris Day have? Eddie Barker will still chase. It's a great pot into the middle. He has no choice really but to. Chris Day waits anxiously behind him. Have a look at the clock. Can Eddie force something magical in these last 38 seconds? That is some shot.
It's a great try, isn't it?
It's still really difficult, but it was some shot from Eddie Barker to give himself a go. And I think Chris Day is going to escape. On the last boat out of Saigon. He's going to rob away a point.
Makes things very, very interesting. He'll feel a little fortunate or a little relieved, I suspect, to get through this match with a point, but he is still in with a chance.
Isn't he just? Here's the stats of a dramatic match, and this doesn't even begin to tell the story of it.
No, that's just the the better facts there, but there was a lot of drama, a lot of twists and a lot of turns out there. Also should point out that I was talking about the potential skill shot that Chris Day was going to have to take onto the black, and of course in international 8-ball rules you cannot play the skill shot onto the black as your last ball, so it was, he had to play for the double, and he did that very well indeed.
Yeah, didn't he just? All right then, this is what it looks like. Chris Day tops the table. Sean Storey with a win against Tom Price can qualify. If Tom Price gets a win, we go to a shootout. If it's a draw, we go to a shootout. If that doesn't get you tuning in after the break, I don't know what will. We'll catch you in a few.
This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.